Good morning, Casey Baseflug, Operations for the Alaska Incident Management Team. This is the daily operational briefing for November 5th, 2020. On this fire, we have two major components of it. We have a suppression repair, and then we have the suppression of the fire itself. And so I'm going to start off with the suppression activities going on with the fire. We have a large portion of unstaffed line out here. We got this the northwest portion of it, not hardly any movement up in here. Still a lot of rock, a lot of water, not very much fuel for the fire to burn into. There's a few pockets in here. We're not concerned at all with what's going on in here. Going back down to Lake Thomas Edison, we had some crews in here a couple days, or pulled out a couple days ago, monitoring this by air and by satellite. Very little heat in here, looking really good, secured line. We're very confident that this is going to hold the wind event that is predicted to come in here tomorrow. Moving across around Saddle Mountain, Devil's Bathtub Lake Trail, Margaret Lakes. Again, a little bit of heat in here. This is unstaffed. We're monitoring this by air and by satellite. Yesterday, not very many heat signatures in here. The activity greatly died down up in this country up in here. Moving towards Pond Lily Lake in the middle fork of the San Joaquin, just on the south eastern portion of the Lyons fire from 2018. There's activity still in here. We're anticipating activity in here with the predicted weather that's going to be coming in. However, we have our operations folks working diligently, figuring out contingency plans. In here, we have crews mobilizing from the rest of the fire. We have one hotshot crew that's local from the Sierra National Forest moving up in here. They should be in here this morning. We also have two more engines that are local that will be moving up into the Mammoth area this morning, provided some structure protection if needed, but also moving into Pond Lily Lake area if needed and if safe. One of the concerns we have in there is getting folks in and out of here if there was some sort of medical incident with the elevated winds and the weather that could be potentially coming into Mammoth. We could not be able to fly helicopters out of here and be able to support these if there was an incident. It's really rugged country, really hazardous country up in there to be working in. And so we have a plan in place for this with our operations folks, and feel comfortable with that. Moving on to the suppression repair. Again, we have about 100 pieces of equipment working on this fire, roughly 600 miles of line to be rehabbed and repaired. We're roughly about 70% finished on that, and that's for the entire fire. On the west side over here, we're getting really close to finishing up, probably looking at a Friday time frame with finishing that up in there. However, with the predicted weather event coming in, there's a lot of uncertainty on it, but what we do know is that we're going to be getting some precipitation. Starting with the lower elevations, there'll be rain, and moving into the higher elevations, where we have a lot of folks working right now, there'll be some snowfall. And so in preparation of that, we'll be orchestrating a pretty systematic event of moving equipment from the higher elevations down to the lower elevations, so they do not get either stuck up there in some of those high elevations, but also to reduce traffic accidents and congestions on the highway. With all this piece of equipment, not even from us, but from public, from some of the other activities that are going on here with Southern California Electric, Caltrans. There's a lot going on here, not just us. And so we want to have an early systematic approach to it. So we're going to start moving some equipment out of the west area and also in this northern portion I guess this is more of an eastern side of the fire here, around north of Huntington Lake, all the way up towards Mono. Some of this equipment will be coming down the hill. And so with that, you know, if folks are out there driving on their own, be very cautious. There's going to be a lot of equipment. This is big equipment, you know, lowboys, excavators, logging equipment. There's also lots of removal of timber coming off here right now too. So there's lots coming down the hill and up the hill. These roads out here are really windy. They're dangerous when they're dry. So when we start getting this early season or first major snowfalls of the year in here, most of the locals know that it can turn into really icy, dangerous conditions. And so our folks working out there are aware of it. We're going to be very cautious of it. And I also caution everybody else that will be out in this area to really keep a heads up out there. With that, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you.